It's been a couple weeks hiatus here on the Indiana State Coaches Show, which of course is brought to you by our friends at 7th and Elm Bar and Grill. What a run it has been on for this man and his basketball team. Indiana State head coach Greg Lansing and his Sycamores were on a 7-game winning streak. Unfortunately, it came to an end yesterday in Cedar Falls against Northern Iowa, but still a lot of positives to take away for Indiana State. Coach Lansing, good to catch up with you, buddy, especially after a couple Mondays off. We continue to see each other, continue to chat, and I know a little bit of a sour taste yesterday, but overall, what a run your group has been on.
Yeah, I guess the saying is all good things must come to an end. Sure didn't have to. I think we are really disappointed that we let one slip away. And the nice thing is about our guys are really disappointed because we had that game doing a lot of good things, up double digits with 10 minutes to go, and then we couldn't get the guard the 3-point line for them, and we couldn't get a shot to go down. I think we only shot 31% in the second half. So Northern Iowa was a good basketball team, very well coached, as you know, and we fought like crazy all weekend, and the guys have done a lot of good things, in the past month and a half or so, and we have bigger plans, though. We have bigger plans, and we need to get back in here, get rested up, and continue to get better.
I understand, state regulations, and there's so much more that goes into fan attendance in terms of obviously our venue and Holman Center and other venues throughout our state. But we'll get to your family in a moment, being able to be at the game. But it was just kind of one of those things for me, just, sitting on the baseline as the game was tightening, the crowd getting into the game. I was like, yeah, this is what it used to feel like.
Yeah, there's cheerleaders there. I mean, goodness, we had cheerleaders right up behind us, and I know Iowa's regulations are loosening, and we're at Evansville Sunday, and I think they're letting a maximum of 500 people, so they are letting some people in, and I get it. I understand the way things are and why our administration and the university does not want to do it, so we're just complying with it. At least we get to have family in there. It's just it's tough and it's disappointing. And then, what's scary for us is our guys have done such a good job handling everything. And now they have to go to class. If they have to be in a class, then they're in there with general students that maybe don't have to worry about the protocols as much. So it's tough. It's tough. And I commend our guys for how well they've dealt with it.
Let's touch up on your family. Obviously, normally we see your dad and mom much more throughout the year, but of course this year being the year that it is, and all the travel restrictions and all the regulations we got into, just how special was it for you to be able to see your folks, but not just be able to see your folks, but before that game started, to be able to go up, give your dad a hug, give him a fist pump, and see them in the stands for the first time this year?
I'm getting choked up here, Luke. In these times, you don't get to see your family as much as you'd like to, and parents are getting older. Don't get to see my brother and my sister very much, and my 2 nieces and my nephew, and to have them brave the cold to make it over there to, how frigid it was, to have them make the trip and be able to spend some time with them was very special. It's always special to go to Drake or Northern Iowa for me. It's important games. I think the guys kind of understand it, they know it. They fought awful hard. I was proud of them. My family is proud to see their son coaching and to see how hard the team plays. So it was very nice. I wish I could see him more.
Not to divvy so much from the game, but let's kind of get back to both those games, and we'll start with the game yesterday. You mentioned it after the game, and it's one of those things where you don't want to make a big deal about it because guess what? The opponent's going through it too. But did you feel that was the first time that maybe this year in a second game where you could see a little bit of fatigue with your guys, where maybe that second game this year, for us at least, it seems like it's been a game that we finished strong and have played well in, even though we haven't won all of those second games?
Yeah, I think you saw it. I think I saw it too a little, Luke. We got off to a good start, and then there was that long period of play where Jake or I, neither one of us used a timeout. We're trying to drive them and wear each other out there, and it was just guys were just so fatigued both teams were, and I think that took a lot out of us early in the game. Our guys played their hearts out. The previous game, guys, we had some guys with high minutes, and so did Northern Iowa. But it did look like we were a step slow, a little sluggish. Yet we're up 13 in the second half, and I didn't think we looked any more fatigued down the stretch than they did. I just think they made some threes, and we couldn't get a shot to go. But that was the first time on the second day where we didn't look like ourselves. But to the guys' credit, they fought like crazy to try and win that game.
Were the 7 threes that you and I made in the second half, I think 7 of 12 in that second half. Noah Carter was phenomenal. I think 25 points and played all 40 minutes for Coach Jacobson's crew on Sunday. When you went back and you watched it on the plane on the way back, were they contested? Did you feel maybe they were a little bit too open? How'd you feel those 7 threes for you and I were in the second 20 minutes?
Yeah. Some slight mistakes, things we could have done better. When you're guarding a great shooter like that, we call it green. He's not a red. He's an elite shooter, and we don't want those guys to get catch and shoot threes. We're over helping a little late getting to him and letting him get those shots. He wasn't the only one, but like you said, you asked about fatigue. That kid played 40 minutes and had 25 and 12, so he got it done. But we knew our game plan. They want to get threes. They need threes, and that's a tale of the game right there. We're even though we shot only 31%, we still had that game and could have won it, despite them shooting 7 threes. So we keep one of those things out of the net and play a little bit smarter and tougher on the defensive end throughout the possession. You got a chance to win.
This is going to be probably a good question for you, but when you think of when you guys started league play back against Drake, and if I would ask you this question of how would you describe the defensive mindset of your group then compared to now, where has that defensive mindset changed with your guys from when you started in league play to now wrapping up against UNI to when now you got 4 games left?
Well, you can't sit in front of them and talk too long because the attention span of these young guys isn't as long as you like. And I think that was the way our defense was being played. The attention span wasn't near good enough that it needed to be. But you're around us. You know how much we work on it every day in practice, and getting the guys commit to it. And know the importance of each defensive possession. You get into games against Drake and a Missouri State and a Loyola to start the year, and you see that and how hard those teams are coming at you. And we picked up our attention to detail, doing better on the scouting reports, and the competitive nature of the guys as a group has just gotten better. And, our returning guys, Tyree, Kakoop, Jake, and Trey, and you throw in a freshman in there that just fights like crazy. Those guys have really done a good job buying in.
We have Julian Larry coming up next here, Coach. Juju, it's been kind of an up and down freshman year for him, kind of initially where maybe scouts weren't as specific on your guys. And also there was no tape really on Julian, had that defensive energy. His offensive shot wasn't necessarily there early, but then had a really big drought. But recently it seems like Juju's been able to come through that, has been able to regain that confidence. You never lost confidence in him. What was the key in getting that confidence back for Juju?
Seeing the ball go through, and as you said, I want him to shoot every open shot he has. So do his teammates, and you can see that by the times they hit him. They give him the ball and to take those shots. And kid is special. This kid is special on and off the floor. Great kid from a phenomenal family. He's going to lead Indiana State to a lot of victories. There's no question. And he's only a freshman. His best days are ahead, and he's a tireless worker. He's got that Tyreek Key mentality, to where he's in there every morning. He and Sam Mervis come in every morning, and he sprints by me when I'm going out to do radio after the game to get out there and get some more shots up, some more free throws. So if you can't love that kid, boy, I don't know. You got something wrong with you.
I'm pretty sure he sprints everywhere he goes with him doing from time to time. We'll take a break here on the show. When we come back, it'll be time to meet Julian Larry here on the 7th and Elm Bar and Grill, Indiana State Coaches Show. Oh, the man everybody enjoys and loves to talk to. We were just talking about him a moment ago with head coach Greg Lansing. It's now time for Julian Larry's Spotlight here on the 7th and Elm Bar and Grill Coaches Show. Juju, how's your freshman year going this year so far, big fella?
It's going well. Stubbed my toe a little bit there, but it's picked it back up and it's starting to go well again.
You know, it's funny because Coach Lansing says, you're a guy that's just running everywhere you go. It doesn't matter if it's after a home game, you're running by him to go get some extra shots in Holman Center, whether it's here during practice, wherever it may be. You mentioned stubbing your toe a little bit, but how did maybe stubbing your toe toughen you up and get you ready for what seems like it's been a really good couple weeks for you?
It really helped me out, just mainly with my mental and my play also, but it really helped me out with my mental, just recouping and kind of hitting the reset button just to get back kick-started again.
What was the lowest point for you, and why was it the lowest point?
The lowest point for me was, I would say, after the Illinois State games, because we just made some adjustments, and then just me adjusting to it was getting really rough. But once I got adjusted to it, then my mental just came along with it. Then I just started to crank it up after that.
Don't want to say it's as simple as this, but how much from an offensive perspective for you was it just seeing the ball finally go in to get that consistency factor going after you had really a rough stretch there of where you missed 16 straight field goals?
It felt really good because just knowing that I can open up the offense more to do more. But it just felt really good just to see the ball go in, and then now to start doing it consistently, just keep going with it.
Did you ever really lose your confidence? It seems like a talking point maybe at times someone like me or someone else will use, but man, that's a guy just lost his confidence. But did you really at all lose it? It was just no other way to describe it, just a tough stretch for you.
Nah, I didn't lose confidence. It was mainly just like I wanted just to do well for like my teammates and everybody so much that I was just being like just super hard on myself, but I never really lost confidence at all.
You mentioned being super hard on yourself. You're somebody that puts in, let's just say, a few hours in the gym. This whole COVID pandemic, all the different restrictions and stuff, it's not under any normal circumstances, but for those that haven't had the chance to be around you, how often would you say you are in the gym, and how often you are working on your shot and working on all different aspects of your game, not just your shot?
I'm in the gym a lot. So I say waking up in the mornings, go to the gym, then lifting, then after I go to class, go back to the gym. And then I try and get to practice about an hour and a half, 2 hours early to try and get to the gym, and then staying after and shooting a little bit too. So just nothing much, just that, just a little bit.
Just nothing much, just in the gym, like 20 of the 24 hours. That's nothing hard at all. Have you always been that way? Is that something that just ever since you can remember? We kind of touched up on it earlier in the year. I mean, you've played football, you've played other sports too. Were you that way in your other sports? Like, how did that kind of come part of your persona a bit?
I've always been like that towards basketball because I really liked it a lot. Just now it's more easier to get into the gym because the gym's right across the street. I don't have to get in the car or ask my parents to take me and stuff like that. But even like my mom would tell you, like I would call her about like 5:45, 6 a.m. Hey, can we go to the gym? And then we get ready and go. So I've always been like that, even coming up.
Your personality, we got to see it on display earlier this year. You did your day in the life. We see your dorm room neatly cleaned, which I'm sure it is always neatly cleaned. So Yolanda can be happy and understand that Julian keeps his place always clean all the time. But give us a little bit more of an insight who Julian Larry is on a day-to-day basis. How would you describe your energy, your enthusiasm that you bring each and every day as you're grinning right now as I'm asking you the question?
I would just say I'm a fun person, always laughing, always trying to make somebody laugh. So just a fun person, but also like when I get on the court, I can be like serious. Like once it's game time, like it's game time. But I still will throw a joke in there a little bit just to keep the mood light and keep everybody still relaxed and stuff, but just having fun.
I will also say you're very polite because you're the only player ever in my time that has backed their way into when I'm shooting on the baseline and go, sorry, Luke. Even in college, that I'm there. You know, most of the time when the game's going on, guys are so locked in, man. You were just like, oh, sorry, Luke. Sorry, Luke. All right. And then looked and I think even scored on the next play. So you're an overly polite guy too.
Yeah, that's really kudos to my parents because especially my mom, she's always told me always be nice to people because it's like once you leave the world, you want people just to say a lot of nice things about you. So that's just why the way I am.
As you've gone throughout this year, Ju, what's been your favorite part of this team? What are the characteristics you really like you guys as a group, not relating to basketball, just your first experience being in college? What's it been like being around these guys?
It is a lot of fun. We have a bunch of clowns on the team. That's what just makes this, that's what's made this year just so much smoother because we're always together. We might not like the whole team might not be together, but when the team, like the whole team gets together, it's just a clown show. I mean, starting with Jake and Trey, they always cracking on everybody. And then TJ and Randy will hop in there. And then, you know, they'll always try and get on Sam, but it's just, that's what's made it a whole lot easier.
So when you're not in the gym, which is like 2 hours of the day, what do you do in those other 2 hours? What are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy playing the game, hanging out with my teammates, and hanging out. Those are the only two, really.
That's it? Nothing more? I mean, there's a little bit more to you. Come on, like what are some of your favorite games? You say the game. What do you enjoy playing?
Always on the fort. Always on the fort. Sometimes I'll play my little My Career personal 2K, but that's not a lot. Sometimes I'll play Madden. You know, some people challenge me at Madden. I've learned a lot from Kobe though. That's kudos to Kobe on that with Madden, but mainly just Fortnite and just hanging out with everybody. Those are my only two things really.
Also known as C bands, as he
Yeah, C band.
C bands. He has another pronunciation of it, but we'll leave that for to go through. Juju, as you look here through the closing stretch, 4 games left for you guys. You know, I've asked this to multiple of the guys who have been here on the show this year, but to kind of put in perspective, how you're a freshman, so like I know you're probably used to maybe playing a lot of games, maybe not necessarily to the physicality that you've been in now. But how do the 2 games take a toll? Describe how your body feels on a day like today after you really went through 2 grueling contests over the weekend with Northern Iowa.
Well, it started off like because I'm a freshman, so I hadn't really just been through the physicality in the college a lot. But just starting off with the 2 games, my body was still feeling good and stuff. It's starting to take a little toll, but just recovery with Con and everything is big, and we take advantage of that. But after going through the series with Northern Iowa, you get pretty tired, but this is what we love to do. So, I mean, we can push through it. It's good.
How good can this team be?
Really good. Like we can be really good. You can just see it in my facial expression. We can be like a really good team, and we're climbing to be that. We kind of stubbed our toe a little bit with this loss that we had, took a slight step back, but I think us doing that, or not us stubbing our toe, but just us kind of losing, just help us be better in the long run.
All right, this is going to be the hardest question I've asked you. Last question before I let you go. Who has the best jump shot on the manager squad?
Ooh, best jumper, like best looking jumper, or like.
I mean, like, now you can have a jumper that looks good, but you know,
right, but
I'm not just asking for a good shooter. I'm asking for a good maker. You know, somebody that can throw it out there and it goes in. So, you know, who overall and that's part of it, but adding in the different aspects, how it looks, and also does it get results?
Results. I would say the best looking jumper on our manager squad, I would have to say Dalton.
Oh no. No. No.
I mean,
Oh,
because Dalton, hold on.
this is being quote tweeted. This is being sent everywhere. Dalton's going to save this for his video library everywhere. Just FYI, but I'll finish.
I'll say Dalton just tying all that in, just the way it looks, and then his consistency of it going in. I say it goes Dalton first. Then I'm gonna have to go with Kenny, even though he shoots a lot of outlandish shots, but when he's sitting there shot ready to shoot, it goes in. And then I'll have to go Zane. Zane, he's got a nice looking jumper. It's a little flat, but he is the best player manager, as you can say. He is like the best player on the court every time, unless like somebody like Odom or someone will be playing, but he's the best player out of all of them. Then the last one has got to be Evan. Evan, he's got some work to do. He's got to get in the weight room so he can get the ball there all the time. But when Evan's on fire, he can be a solid little player too.
To back you up, you are correct. If Jake Odom is playing, he is the best player on the court. There is no question about that. Julian, you've had a really strong, last couple of weeks, man. Keep this thing rolling here. I know you guys got a week here to prepare for Evansville and finish this season strong.
For sure. Have to.
That was Julian Larry, freshman point guard. Also, you can add him on Fortnite if you want to. I'm sure if you message him, he'll give you his gamer tag. We'll be back with head coach.
Yeah,
there you go. I want to watch Coach Lansing.
Yeah, my little streaming. I haven't posted anything yet, but young Judah Sauce guy. I'm about to start posting my streams once I figure out how to do it on Twitch.
We'll see if he can figure that out. I'm sure the next guy we're talking to can help him. That's Coach Lansing. I'm sure he's got all that set up. So we'll get Coach Lansing's gamer tag right after this short break. Coach, one of the areas that we didn't really touch up on in the first segment, I want to ask you here first, is your bench. One of the things you always put on your dry erase board is live bench. I feel one of the key guys, and there's a lot of guys, but it's been Calix Stevens. Calix hasn't been able to course play this year. He's been rehabbing. He's been going through all of those stuff to get back from his ruptured Achilles with Connor. But on game day, not everybody can obviously be in the building. Not everybody can see Calix and necessarily what he brings, but speak to what he means to your group and why you really wanted him also to go on that trip to UNI and how big of an impact he makes on your team.
Huge impact. And the way he was this summer and in the fall before he got hurt, he was going to be an impact player for us. And if he was playing, I think Drake and Loyola might have company right there at the top. I really do. And he has stayed positive. He's got a little bit of Tyreek in him. Like you could see him, and he's kind of quiet until you get to know him. Once you get to know him, he's the biggest clown in the locker room that we have. But his basketball IQ is terrific. He's not afraid to speak up in the locker room. He's an unbelievable teammate, and I wanted him to go with us, and I appreciate Sherrard letting he and Nick travel with us because they do have that impact on their teammates. They know what to say, they know the support to give them, and like you said, a live bench in these times where you can't have fans, it's pretty important. And I commend our guys, everybody that is out of the game and not playing. Some are playing, some are playing very many minutes. The guys that are playing a lot, when they're sitting there, they're into it. And that just shows the type of chemistry this team has.
Well, Coach, knock on wood, I probably should not ask you a question like this, so blame me if it gets to this point. But to this point, you guys have played the most games in the league, 8-6 right now, 14 games, 4 games left here as you come here down the stretch. Of course, that isn't the case throughout the league, and everyone's had to deal with these challenges. We hope as a league that those challenges maybe are less here in the closing weeks of the season, but can you add why it's been important to have guys like Connor Burton and others here internally within your program to navigate these really uncharted waters and to do it in a way that you've done to now? You've played 14 games and you've set your group up to only have to have 4 games here the rest of the way, where other teams are obviously playing significantly more games.
Well, Connor Burton doesn't. I mean, he's quietly behind the scenes, the way he takes care of the guys. And then I think when all this started in the summer with the testing and the protocols and the contact, he's doing the contact tracing for everybody. I think he said his job his workload increased by 30+%. You or I say that'd be pretty difficult to be able to manage what you're doing. So he doesn't get near enough credit. He does from us, and I'm not always the easiest guy with injuries or with somebody with getting blood on their shoulder. I was getting after him the other night when Jake had some blood on his sleeve to get him back in the game. But he's done a great job. Kellen Norris, the leader of that department, and where sometimes you think it's very tiresome. It's the amount of things that you have to do and think about. It's second nature now. I'm packing 4 masks when we go on trips. You never had to do stuff like that, and you're thinking of safety protocols. So they have led us to this point, like you said, knock on wood. We've got most of our games, most all of our games in, and we got 4 left, and they're all huge ones. And all we can do is all we can do. We can control. Again, I get a little worried that we have to be in class, and there are some uncontrollables in the situation, but our guys have been unbelievable in dealing with it.
I know this is really, maybe we're all biased, of course, in terms of our love for this league, but why does this league deserve to be a multi-bid league this year, Coach? And especially those 2 teams at the top. You've played both of them. You were able to split with the Ramblers. Unfortunately, we're able to do that with Drake. But why are those teams really deserving of the recognition that they're getting nationally in terms of being teams that should be competing in the NCAA tournament?
I mean, I'm biased, obviously. I think we're good enough, and if we keep improving like we're doing, we're going to have a chance of being there, and Missouri State is certainly an NCAA team. And you're talking about Drake and Loyola. Those 2 games are going to be straight street fights. Drake hasn't played as well lately, but that's natural. They came off a long break, had a little bit of hit a little lull right now, but believe me, they'll get their attention after losing on the road. And that series with Drake will be out, or series with Loyola will be outstanding. So the recognition the league gets is warranted, but I don't think it's enough. I think there should be more attention to these teams and how well they're playing and how good they are.
Coach, we'll get you out of here on this. I know you have a full week here to prepare for Evansville, but Todd Lickwider, it seems like, has done a tremendous job here in year 2 after, of course, a really tough situation stepping into last year, and they went 0-18 in the Missouri Valley Conference. Just initially in games that you've watched throughout the year and some crossovers and some tapes, what has stood out about Evansville? And of course, it's a long historic rivalry with this program, regardless of who the head coaches are, regardless of who the players are. This is a game that means a lot to fan bases.
Yeah, it really is. And it's our biggest rival. It's our state rival. And Coach Licklider, a tremendous coach, as all these coaches are in the league. And they really shoot the basketball. It's kind of a typical team that he's coached. He likes those guys that can put the ball in the hole and take advantage of the 3-point line. And they defend a lot like most of the teams in the league will defend. So we're going to have our hands full. We certainly know that with all these games, and just really looking forward to it. Getting the guys rested up a little bit, work on ourselves a couple days of practice before we start focusing on Evansville. And I know this week we got a little time here. I'm going to make sure that stop in 7th and Elm and thank those guys for all that they do here, and remind everybody to stay safe, but certainly shop and eat local.
For my buddy Greg Lansing, for Julian Larry, who joined us earlier, again, there will be no women's portion tonight due to some COVID issues going on with our Indiana State women's basketball program, but we will keep you updated on all that is coming on Indiana State social media. So for everybody and our friends at 7th and Elm Bar and Grill, I am Luke Martin saying so long. Enjoy the week. Beat Evansville.